What up, everybody?
Hey.
This is Two Shy Guys in the Mic.
Boom.
This is your man Jay, Kevin Johnson, with
Leif Taylor.
Just here having a little fun today. We're going to call this Fun Friday today. And we titled today's show, Time for Entertainment. Yeah.
Are you not entertained?
No, don't do.
Yeah. He just went live. They left, man. They left your brother. So, he left you too.
Well, our bro Lamar wanted to get in on the fun, so he wanted to help us out with some convo.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Talking about time for entertainment, right? And a lot of topics that we often talk about can be serious a little bit, can be business-like a lot of times. So in all the talks that we do, two shy guys at a mic.
There you go.
It's about leveling up to designing your destination, right? Leveling it up in life and thriving. But at the end of that, sometimes I'll say while having fun. And today we're going to talk about the while having fun part and taking time to make sure that you kind of escape a little bit and find some kind of way to entertain yourself. Amuse. When you break down amuse, it means non-think. Like when you go to an amusement park, the whole purpose of going to an amusement park is for you to not think, but just do. Because when you think about it, you're like, do I really want to hurl myself at 70 miles per hour on a roller coaster built by another dude who had a bad day and got the one screw wrong?
Yeah, you're talking about trust.
Yeah, trust, faith, So if I think about it, I ain't riding nothing in that park. But if I don't think, then I'm all good. So you got to take those moments to where you just kind of escape for a little bit. And what this does is it helps you, for number one, break routine. It helps you get unstale. It helps you open yourself up to inspirational, inspiring moments, and moments that's going to help you with respect to your creativity level, which is going to help you get some more broader, more clearer vision when it comes back to getting in flow.
Yeah, sometimes it's good it helps you aspire. It helps to just enjoy life.
And thank you.
Yeah,
enjoy
sometimes you
life.
just gotta relax. I know, all work and no play makes Kevin a dull boy. So you gotta get out there.
I like dull though. I'm the kind of guy that just likes boredom.
Yeah, not me.
I love
sometimes
boredom.
You gotta entertain. If you're not entertaining yourself, sometimes you just seek external stimulus and enjoy the time with other people. Right? Sometimes when you get caught up in too much work, as if that's ever a thing. But sometimes you get caught up in too much work that you don't get to enjoy the people around you. So make sure that you take time out, get to enjoy the people around you. Entertainment is not a bad thing. Overindulging of entertainment, and that's something different. But that's not what we're talking about today.
Yeah, we're going to talk about entertainment in healthy dosages. Now, what kind of got us going along this line was, we was conversating earlier, and I was like, "What you gonna do tonight, man?" He's like, Black Panther, come on.
They're like, what the heck was that?
What? That was Black Panther. If you can't recognize that, you got some issues.
Is that a glitch?
No, but he's somebody's going. We're gonna go. I'm at some point gonna go see it, but I know he said he's gonna go see it specifically at a certain point in time to go see Black Panther, the movie. That's all the latest rage and hype these days with respect to the Marvel universe.
Oh yeah, they do dope marketing.
Marvel is our master marketeers, which is we will probably talk about when it comes to the entrepreneurial pursuit and spirit and being able to move hearts and control. I don't want to say control minds. I wanted to say. Inspire minds to move in a direction that you think you would like them to move. That's what marketers do.
Hey, let's move the crowd.
Let's move the crowd. That's what they do. So just wanted to real quickly. What made you decide to go do that?
Well, to go see One is Black Panther. I mean, so for me specifically, Black Panther. I've been following the Black Panther since I was a little kid. It was like literally one of the first comic books I've ever had. I was telling my wife, I was like, man, like the comic book that they usually reference, like when they show, like, you know, like, oh, this is like, you know, Black Panther, one of the classics.
Yep.
I actually own that.
What?
My mom.
You got it in mint condition?
No. My mom, when we moved, I was away at college.
Moms.
She moved, I came back, all my stuff was gone. So I have no idea where any of that stuff is. It's it saddens me to this day to know that I had a collector's item because
you could have got that autograph.
Yeah. And actually, like, comic books was like one of the things that used to. It's all about entertainment. It actually is one of the things that made me get into art to begin with.
Okay.
I used to literally go through all my comic books and redraw them. So I was like really big into Black Panther. I had actually more than just that one. Shout out to Frank X. Walker, Poet Laureate of Kentucky.
Yep.
He actually gave me my first comics when I was a kid. He used to babysit me.
Sir.
Yeah, he used to babysit me when I was a kid. So he introduced me to DC, to Marvel, all of those things. I'm a huge Wolverine fan. And anyway, so fast forward to now, like this is like one of the greatest times ever if you're a comic geek.
This is the greatest era.
If you're a comic geek,
yeah.
This is like one of the best times on the planet right now. Is the fact that they actually have the technology robust enough to bring these comic books to life.
Yeah.
And make them more than what they were in the comic books. Because if you think about the Black Panther, I mean, I don't even know when it came out, but it was around when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
So the stuff that was in the movie couldn't even have been made then. So now just to see it come to life, especially when they were in the what was the Captain America movie?
Civil War.
The Civil War. Yeah, his debut in the Civil War just set it off, right?
Oh, it was
It set it off, especially when we talk about not only how dope that movie in and of itself was, but the fact that you had my man T'Challa representing the Kingdom of Wakanda, Vibranium, and all of that kind of stuff, and the fact that they had that now you have black representation in entertainment at a high level. We talked about it last night. On the Mars channel, like when we had the Jump-In show, we talked about all the benefits of being able to take your kids to see this. Not only
family movie. Yeah.
Not only from the standpoint of seeing like black people seeing black people, but it's the world seeing black people at a higher level, having a budget that's written. You got a black director, you got black writers, you got predominantly black staff and cast. It's just awesome, and the amount of detail that went into the work, the clothing. Yeah, I've been really nerding out on this, right? Because I'm really into patterns. I'm really into patterns. So like right now, I'm loving the clothes. I've been researching the clothing, how they came up with all the different patterns and the color schemes and the colorways for the film. So definitely hype about seeing the movie. Definitely hype about the buzz that's going on around it. And here's what a lot of people miss, right? Because, we talked about it last night. We'll talk about it now. Like, people getting upset, I'm not even going to categorize the people that are getting upset about the movie. Like, they need to give black people money and all of these things. But what they're missing from a financial standpoint is when we start pulling in these big numbers, this movie is basically pegged to gross over $1 billion.
Wow.
It's pegged to gross over $1 billion. And if you think about the gaming industry is killing right now. Anyway, that's a different thing. But this movie's pegged to gross over $1 billion, which now brings financial stability to future filmmakers. It brings financial stability to future black actors and actresses. Now there can be more than just your Will Smith and your Samuel L. Jackson.
So now it's a foothold as far as being a platform, as far as establishment.
Yeah, because now they have this. It's like, okay, you've established that you can have a young black director on his third film make a movie.
Going back to the Power of One.
Yeah, going back to the Power of One. We talked about. I mentioned Ryan Coogler yesterday. On his third film, he's going to make a movie that's projected to make over $1 billion. The money and the revenue that comes in not only benefits Disney, but it benefits everybody involved in the film. Now they can actually bring in revenue to go start their own Disneys if they choose to. They have money now to where they can reinvest it into their own projects and into their own entertainment companies and all of these kinds of things, which I think sometimes is missed by people.
Man, you're hitting on something. I know we didn't plan. We didn't plan on this.
Yeah, we didn't plan this.
We didn't plan this. This is an open conversation. But what you got me thinking about when you're talking about $1 billion,
yes,
from one film that has potential to cause an industry, a group or a community of people to pivot in the direction that we've been talking about with respect to some of the leadership of the past. And in one moment, you have the power to pivot. So now the question comes to the community is you getting what you want? Are you ready to capitalize and spring forward?
Yeah, and for sure, man. Like for me, one of the things that I always love about when people rally around something, right? Mm-hmm. Right now, from what I've been seeing, because different people have different segments of groups that rally behind something for various reasons, right?
Yeah.
And the thing that I love about it is people are rallying behind the positive black images that are being portrayed.
And why is that? And I wrote that down too. I talked about perception.
Yeah, it's perception.
Why is that important?
Because again, like I mentioned yesterday, we talked about Aspire. My wife said, "What's up, babe?" She said, they've always said a movie with an all-black cast would not make money. This movie debunks that myth. Exactly. It debunks the falsities of the world, right? It's like, that wouldn't work. You can't do that with an all-black cast. And again, and the thing that makes it so powerful to me is, of course, you have some big names, but these people have never really led blockbuster movies before.
So this is like
I know my man Chadwick.
Yeah.
He's definitely a dope actor. I saw him in James Brown. He's in Jackie Robinson, I believe.
But these are really raced.
Yeah. So he's in a lot of films. Like he's in Thurgood, or I think it's Marshall. It's either Marshall or Thurgood. I can't remember the name of the film. He's in a lot of films that I actually like. However, he's never been in a lead role of this magnitude. Actually, this is a first for a lot of these people, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the people in the film is a first. And man, I'm just excited about the fact that, you have dark-skinned people. Dark-skinned, not just, I'm a light-skinned brother.
Going back to the perception.
Yeah, it's perception, right? So I'm loving it. It's Marshall. Thanks, John. I appreciate that. So you got dark-skinned people in a lead role, and they're culturally appropriate. Meaning that they represent a culture. It's not a watered down version of what Wakanda is. It's not an Americanized. Of course, it's an American vision, but it's not an Americanized version of how they should be.
Right.
And that's why I love the concept. And I haven't even seen the movie yet, but I love the concept. And actually, I love the dialogue around the movie.
Yeah.
It's like you're being entertained, of course. Marvel is a behemoth right now. They're killing the movie game. But not only that, it's bringing in dialogue around
that matches,
black people.
Yeah.
It's bringing an elevated dialogue about the potential of black people. And that's why I love this movie so much.
Man, now you're talking about not only perception, but you're planting seeds in the imaginations of those who watch it. Because, just for example, you mentioned you were doing research on the clothing.
Yes.
And the woman who put the clothing style together.
It's way more than a superhero movie.
It is. The woman who put the clothing together did an amalgamation of certain tribes.
Yes.
And she drew on the movement of Afrofuturism, which means future from an Afrocentric perspective.
Yes.
And that's just in the clothing alone.
Yeah, and the good thing about that, especially when you think about like he's talking about Afrofuturism, if you look it up, it's just basically how Africans and African American people see themselves in the future.
Yes.
And again, it's aside from a westernized version of what the future is.
And that's important.
Yes.
But this is the power of entertainment.
Yes.
Because I wrote it down, you talked about perception. The power of entertainment, like we talked about, has the power to spark your creativity. Yes. Now, when you have a movie, just say we're talking about Black Panther specifically, of this nature, you're having the power to plant seeds in those who actually watch this movie that's going to carry on for ages to come.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
So you're shaping the mindset and thought process of people that watch this movie. Just like the other day you brought up the Jetsons.
Yeah.
And that shaped my concept of what I thought the world would look like, and what it kind of influenced my behavior.
Yeah, it does.
Based on that vision that's placed in front of me.
Because people aspire to make those things come to pass, right?
Yes.
Yeah, when I think about it's funny, when I think about Wakanda, I think about Nigeria personally.
Yes.
I think about the innovations and the engineering that's going on in Nigeria.
Well, yeah, 'cause right now Nigeria is being, I don't know, for lack of a better term right now, but Nigeria is being, it's been extracted as far as resources concerned, especially dealing with oil. And then I was looking up some of the other histories of some past empires in Africa and the level that the continent itself was at in the past, and how now there's been correlations made between this movie and what you may find as far as artifacts with respect to Egypt or Kemet and some of the other places, the Songhai Empire, Timbuktu, just you name the empire, and these were massive empires that had running water, that had electricity running through the cities.
Oh yeah,
in the past. You can look this up, what they call Oompa artifacts.
I think I know what you're talking about. And also, just to segue into what Kevin's talking about, read the research of Ira Van Sertima. He's a researcher, and he talks about discrimination in history. He talks about the fact is advanced civilizations. Yes, Russell. And he talks about these things, how, like, if you start researching the history of the African influence in the Americas, and how bias and research and those kinds of things are doing a disservice to true history, because they're saying that they have African, like, talking about the technology that the ancient Africans had and the things that they were doing. People didn't believe it was possible because they were black people.
Check this out. Just as you're talking, I heard a talk by a woman by the name of Deborah Tavares. And she brought deeper insight to something I had known and kind of knew a little bit about, but I really didn't have clarification on it. And she articulated it so well with respect to Gaddafi and what he was actually doing in Libya, in that he was setting Libya up to be an axis or the cornerstone of redeveloping the continent of Africa.
Yeah, economic freedom.
Yes, and they said he was building, quote unquote, the eighth wonder of the world with respect to the underlying water system that he was building. And he was like the eighth largest holder of gold on the planet.
Yeah.
So when they saw Gaddafi, they weren't just looking at him. They were looking at
resources.
Resources, yeah.
My wife says advanced African civilization.
Not that I'm a fan of Gaddafi or dictator.
She made a comment earlier. She said she's seen a lot of comments as to Wakanda is what Africa could have been had it not been for colonization. Yeah, it definitely is true. British imperialism. Oh man, she knows how much. Yeah. Anyway,
we can take that rabbit trail for a minute.
Actually, I always make this statement is that we look at people who love Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
And if you look at the makeup of Star Wars and how it works, it looks like British imperialism.
Well, when you read Zbigniew Brzezinski, when you look at people like what is his name? Oh my goodness, Glasses. He was Secretary of State under Nixon. I always talk about him.
I can't remember.
Well, when you look at some of the other political movers and shakers, they're very clear about the world powers and how the power structure is structured right now, and that we have three major world elites or countries or segments fighting over the levers of world domination. That's just the nature of the world that we live in. And if you do any kind of research, you can find it out for yourself. You know, I threw out one name just because this was popping in my head right now. It's Zbigniew Brzezinski. He wrote the oh man, dang, what did he write? Another one is Carroll Quigley, Tragedy and Hope. But you can research this for yourself. But the British Empire, Russia, and China are the three major world powers right now, fighting out for control of who's going to be the leader.
I just pasted his name in the comments.
In the new order. So when you were talking about Africa, at the center, as far as resource extraction.
Yeah.
And then relating to the comment that was made about Black Panther being a possibility of what Africa could have been, the continent, had it not been colonized, then movies do a lot. First, they open up and inspire, but also they're a way to transmit
Go ahead.
truth.
Yeah, Lamar's bad now. We were talking about that before me and Kevin got on. My wife says advanced African civilization is why we teach our girls about African history every day, not just in February.
Yeah.
My wife does an excellent job. She makes sure that we basically present information to our girls about African American history and how we've basically contributed to history as a whole. We've done so many things, and again, going back to my earlier thought on the movie and why I love the movie, it can open up those dialogues about us and the way we talk about ourselves.
Yes.
Like a lot of times we perpetuate
it's in-house. Yes.
We perpetuate a lot of false stereotypes, right?
Yeah.
And most people don't realize that the most educated people in the United States at this moment are Black women.
Yep.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yep.
Some of the most educated people in the world are Nigerians. People always want to go to Asians and those kinds of things. They think that, when you talk about education, the most advanced degrees and all those kinds of things, Asia usually comes up, right? But it's really Nigerians. Nigerians are some of the most educated people in the world, period.
Bar none.
And so we have to realize our greatness. We have to realize our potentials, and that's one of the things that these movies can do. They can expand your mind.
Entertainment.
Yeah. Entertainment. We're talking about entertainment.
Yeah, we're talking about entertainment, but we took the rabbit trail of Black Panther because it's the most popular. It's in pop culture right now.
Because I'm hype about it.
Yeah. I mean, how can you not be?
Yeah,
it's Marvel.
Hype about it.
It's Marvel. It's a major production.
Yeah.
Looking to gross over $1 billion. How can you not be excited about it?
And everybody's excited about it. I know that, amongst our circles and everything, they're trying to make it just about, edutainment. Because I know that I haven't seen it yet, and I'm not going to, even if I did, I wouldn't, give any spoilers.
Yeah.
But I know that there's a lot of deep conversations that happen in that movie. That I know that's been talked about. And one of the things, again, that I love about the aspect of the Black Panther movie and what they've done and the possibilities is, again, it gives the world a different view. It beats against the dissonance that's going on in the world and the misinformation about Black people, especially when you look at entertainment, where everything is pimps, hoes, pushers, drug dealers. Yeah, it's everything. It's funny. We're talking about entertainment, but everything about Black people is involved in entertainment in the basement, in a sense. And so this gives us an opportunity. And actually, lately, we talked about this last night. Now, I don't think there's been another point in history, of course, because of technology and a lot of different things. There's never been another point in history where there's been so many Black films. So much Black entertainment. I'm talking about positive stuff. I'm not talking about, just, trap music and all those kinds of things.
Now, I want to stay there. Why is it important with the positivity? That's what we're about, right?
Yeah.
Positivity. Why is it important that we really, the Black community, African American community, why is it important that we focus on the positivity of this movie? Now I'll just go say where
just say it, man.
Stats. The Black community right now is at the peak when it comes to abortion, when it comes to the disintegration of the family, when it comes to illegitimacy as far as like out of parent children, when it comes to education, when it comes to finances, when it comes to health.
But here's the thing. Some of those things are true, but not all of them are.
Okay.
And a lot of that information has been exaggerated.
Skewed.
It's been very skewed, and this is why you have to be very careful. I had an argument it wasn't even an argument, it was a discussion about a guy. He was like, 70% of all, marriages, African American marriages are divorced. I'm like, that's not true. Where did you get this information? And he couldn't provide it.
Okay.
So you have a lot of things that are blown out of proportion, exaggerated, and again, this movie allows the conversation to be skewed toward the positive as opposed to the negative.
Yes.
Because a lot of times we skew our conversations toward the negative and we give false impressions of ourselves, which means that we don't aspire.
It means we're feeding back into feedback.
And again, so we have to be very careful as a whole. Not only us, but everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody. And that's why truth is important. Truth is very important. So we have to start researching some of this information that's given out, especially when it comes to negative things. I hate it. I really do, especially when it comes to us, because I think about it, it's like, okay, all the fathers that I know, for the most part, the vast majority, of probably 80 to 90% of all the black fathers I know
still around,
are with their children.
Okay.
I grew up in a household without a father, so I understand what that's like. However, I know a lot of people who had that same scenario that's like, you know what, it's not going to happen in my generation. It's not going to happen with my kids.
And you talked about the numbers. The numbers are showing that not only in the African American community, but across the board, that we have to be careful with the numbers because it's actually going the other way. It's showing that because of what you said, I saw this, I don't want that, so I'm going to make sure that I do this. Yeah,
definitely. So again, let's see, my wife says, thanks, Slave Taylor. I was going to comment the same thing. It's exaggerated to keep people thinking a specific type of way. Yeah, especially like when we start talking about like our upbringings and our neighborhoods and all those kinds of things. It wasn't all bad. Like I don't know if you all know Ty Tribbett. He's a gospel singer. One of the songs that actually made me like Ty Tribbett, I wasn't a big fan before, but his song "Good in the Hood."
Okay.
It's good in the hood. And basically the premise of his song was everybody's not selling dope. Everybody's not drug dealing. Everybody's not abandoning their kids. There are a lot of fathers, there are a lot of parents in the hood that take care of that, they hold it down. They work the extra jobs. They're not on government assistance. They do a whole lot of good, and there's good in the hood. Because if the hood was as bad as we make it out to be, then nobody would be alive. Period. Everybody would be shot up. Everybody would be dead. It's not that way. It's truthfully a small percentage. Even when you look at the statistics here in Lexington, Kentucky, and we talk about crime and all those kinds of things, when you break it down and actually look at the real statistics, it's a very small percentage of people that need the help. But they still need the help.
They still need.
You still have to help.
There's still some crazy people out there.
Yeah, you still have to help.
And there's still some neighborhoods I ain't going in after dark.
Yeah, but even still, right? It's not as bad as everything is projected to be.
That is true.
Think about it. When's the last time you were in the hood and 17 people got shot up in a high school? It doesn't happen.
Well, oh man, now you're hitting on something. Talking about the uptrend. Or as far as school shootings,
but
and where they're taking place at.
Yeah, you don't see that in the hood. You just don't.
Well, I was going to throw Chicago at you, man.
When was the last time that happened?
I'm just talking about
a school shooting in Chicago.
I'm just about the murder rate in Chicago.
No, I understand the murder rate, but even think about the murder rates, right? Again, you got to look at everything. Again, information is important, but you got to read it the right way.
I understand
you know what I'm talking about.
I know about the FBI statistics when it comes to murder rates and stuff like that.
Yeah, but not even that. What I'm saying specifically, it's like, okay, you have a population of, I don't know what the population of Chicago is. I'll just throw out a number. I'll just say it's 100 million people. It's not 100 million. Let's say 20 million people.
Okay.
Say you have a population of 20 million people. You have 500 deaths. It's sad that you have 500 deaths.
But it's extremely sad with respect to rate.
The ratio of the population is still very small.
Yeah.
Do you want to stop that? Of course you do. You don't want anybody to be murdered. You don't want anybody to fear that they can be murdered. You don't want any of that to happen. However, you have to look at everything realistically.
Yeah.
It's rare that you get shot just by being at your house, taking care of your family.
Even though we know it happens.
Yeah, but think about how rare that is.
In the scheme of things,
it's very rare.
No, you're right.
Right? So again, when we look at these things, we have to look at them realistically. Everybody's not in the... I'll give an example, right? We'll sway back to entertainment and why entertainment is important.
No, entertainment's important because it sparks conversations like this.
Exactly, because you can throw things out. We were talking about Dave Chappelle. Kevin's got to watch it. We'll talk about Dave Chappelle one of these days.
I'm sleeping.
He has one of the dopest comedy sets ever to me. But anyway, so I remember being in college, right? And I, because I used to go to the club I used to spend so much money on the club that I'm like, why am I doing this? And I would still go. Yeah, and I would still go. So anyway, I would be like, man, I'd hate to be in the club and get into a fight over my girl because some dude's trying to holler at her and all of this kind of stuff. This is the way I thought. Like if I get married, it's like, I'm going to the club all the time. How am I going to act? And then I was like, but the reality is I don't have to always go to the club.
You don't have to put yourself in that predicament.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that you can divorce yourself of and not be in the predicament of danger. It is true. I think about danger all the time.
Yeah.
We take self-defense with my family. I have,
you have to. That's part of
those kinds of things. Yeah. So I take self-defense. I take self-defense very seriously. So I'm always thinking about dangers.
Awareness.
Being aware of my environment, being aware of my surroundings.
Going back to Black Panther. He was trained for danger.
Yeah, you were trained for that, right? You got to train for that. But anyway, when you think about it, it's like all danger is not something that is unavoidable.
Yeah.
So some things, some things you can just avoid. Some things you don't have to be a part of. Maybe there are times when you do have to put yourself in harm's way, but the majority of the time you don't.
Right.
And it's those times when you put yourself in harm's way when a lot of people end up being murdered. Yeah. But sometimes it comes to you. But again, I don't want to jump on that rabbit trail. I want to get back on this Black Panther. Talk about edutainment, education, and the reason why I'm loving the prospects of this movie. Right, the prospects of this movie because one, it's not talking. We're actually being creative. It's Black people in a creative light. I know there's a movie Ava DuVernay is doing, Wrinkle in Time, that's coming out.
Yeah.
It's another thing. It's the center of it is a young black girl. I'll probably take my kids to see that. And again, it's just to expand their mindset that I can be anything, that I can do anything.
Man, before I came over here, I was scrolling through the YouTubes. It's really easy to scroll through. Go from video to video.
Oh yeah,
right.
Set up that way.
So I end up on Sophia Stewart, who wrote The Matrix. She wrote The Matrix and The Terminator. And I had never. She's African American, and I had never.
I just want to throw this out there. Will Smith was supposed to be the original Neo.
Really?
He turned it down for the cowboy movie he did, the Wild Wild West.
What?
Anyway, I just wanted to throw
that
moment in Black history. Anyway, go ahead.
And that kind of makes sense in the whole scheme of things, given when some stuff you speculate about, like. What was so mind-blowing for me when I heard her actually out of her own mouth say some things that I had blogged about years ago when I saw the movie, it just blew me away that just talking about the power of entertainment and the power to open up people's awareness and minds. And she talked about, in the course of this particular interview, she's written The Matrix 4. She had that written like back in 2010. She said that all of Hollywood has read it. She said that Warner Brothers or someone's going to give her. I don't know if she said they were or is going to give her $30 million for it. Mm-hmm. And she just talked about how if you just watch that movie very carefully, she talks about the power of the Bible. I was not expecting her to say that.
Yeah,
because she was in
if you pay attention to the names that are in the movie,
I know
the Zion and all of these
the Matrix.
Things,
and like when I looked up the Matrix, I saw in Exodus in the book of Exodus where it talks about the Matrix being the mother's womb.
Yeah,
which is why she named Trinity and made Trinity a female, and that the original Matrix is the mother's womb that the soul comes in. She started going down some stuff, and she was getting questions in the audience, right? Mm-hmm. And they were asking her background. She's like, "Yeah, I was going to school to be a lawyer and a doctor. I'm a polymath on the level, or even at the level of a Da Vinci or a Tesla. She just started going through her pedigree, and she started going through her history. She said, "Yeah, I was doing people's taxes like H&R Block when I was 11. I skipped high school. I went straight to college." She started naming all this other stuff, and then she was like, the 3 books. The 3 things you need to focus on when it comes to your children is the Bible, mathematics, and I forgot the other thing that she said. But when she said that just really kind of just blew me away and took me to a whole. And I don't know much else about the woman. I'll probably go do some more research on it.
Yeah,
but she was just speaking.
Information in there.
She was just speaking to the power of movies, entertainment.
Yes.
And the power that it sparked as far as creativity, edutainment, indoctrination, and the power of it to spark conversations and dialogue that we're having.
Yeah, it's a good segue because we were talking about the Dave Chappelle thing earlier downstairs. Some other people, and comedy is a form of entertainment. However, a great comedian, again, I'm giving Dave Chappelle tons of props. The way he tells a story.
We talked about stories.
Yeah, he brings people in and he can talk about real issues within the context of a story. And so sometimes entertainment can allow you to be more susceptible to information that you don't necessarily want to hear.
That's why oral history is before written history.
So you can basically, it's like you may be a staunch racist, but if somebody tells a good story, you'll actually listen to the perspective of the person in the story. And that's one of the powers of entertainment, is the fact that you can throw in real issues. I'll give a simple example, right? Disney, Pixar movies. All Pixar movies are filled with heart because they go to the heart of a person. If you look at the layout of every Pixar movie, for the most part, I can't think of any that don't line up with this. Maybe WALL-E, but actually
WALL-E did hits too. I was thinking about WALL-E.
There's always a death. There's always a death in the film.
Oh, Disney has a formula.
Yeah, there's always a death in the film. Why?
Pixar.
Because Disney too.
Yeah.
Think about it. Princess Frog. Think about it. Somebody dies in just about every film because one, it gives you empathy and sympathy, right? And with that empathy and sympathy, you now have a connection with that hero on their journey. Think about it. Even when we're talking about Black Panther.
Yeah.
In Civil War, his father dies.
Yeah.
The premise of the whole Black Panther, the premise of him being king.
That's the Disney formula.
Yeah, the premise of him being king is the fact that his father dies. So now you have an empathy for him. You have a certain kind of compassion. Yeah, and you connect with that person, and then you have the suspension of disbelief, which allows your mind to open up to all of these possibilities.
Yes. Let's get back to entertainment. Entertainment suspends your belief so that you can either be indoctrinated if you're not paying attention, or educated, or it's like reading the newspaper. It's just you're seeing foretold events that will help what they say get you familiar with what's coming or what is.
Yeah, and even and sometimes also, like I said, it can take the sting away from the conversation.
Yes.
Again, especially when you talk about race issues, race relations, those kinds of things. Somebody brought it up last night. We're talking about Black Panther. They talked about the movie Bright. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
And the movie Bright, they basically use elves and all of these
fairies,
fantasy creatures to really focus on race and discrimination and a whole lot of different things. But you can offset it on these other things that aren't necessarily so close to home. It's the same issues, but it's like you can discuss it more openly because of the entertainment value. Another thing, I know I'm jumping all over the place.
No,
one of the things that again, going back to why I love Black Panther, again, it opens up the dialogue for Black greatness. And a lot of times, like he mentioned earlier with the Black writer for The Matrix, most people probably don't even know there was a Black writer. I
didn't know she wrote the. I didn't know she wrote the Terminator series, and that they're connected.
Yeah, I didn't either. And then also there's another one, Underworld. I don't know if you all are familiar with the Underworld series. There's probably like 4 or 5.
No, that's like 10 of them.
Yeah,
20
there's
of
like
them.
10 of them. But anyway, the guy that wrote that, he was a chemistry major. He was a black guy. He's actually one of the werewolves in Underworld. He's the big black dude with the deep voice. He wrote it. I found this out years ago when I was researching I was researching because again, I love artists and different things like that. I was basically researching my man LaShawn Thomas. Shout out to him. He's one of the animators for Black Dynamite, and also what's the one, the Boondocks. He did Lizzie McGuire. Anyway, he's a self-taught artist. I love this stuff, so I'd always follow him. And then I came across the guy that did the Underworld series. He wrote it. He was a chemistry major, black dude, and he was just really into science fiction. So he just wrote it down, and he dropped his chemistry job, and he went to pursue this book. And then he picked up on a deal. And again, that's another form of black greatness that a lot of people don't even know. When they watch entertainment and these kinds of things, and again, I like it because you can change the message. You can use these people as examples. I don't even know if people remember. You
can change the narrative.
Yeah, you change the narrative. If the people that are watching, if you've ever seen Fried Green Tomatoes. Have you ever seen that movie? It's about Southern white ladies and their relationship with family. I've never watched it because it didn't appeal to me. However, the director for that film was Bill Duke, and Bill Duke is the guy that he was in Predator and Commando. Is a black guy, big dude, big muscular dude.
Yeah, he did that.
He directed that film. Wow. But a lot of people don't know this because, again, they have a perception. And also just think, the narrative has to change, and entertainment can help change that narrative. And the reason why I like the fact that Bill Duke did Fried Green Tomatoes, it got all of these praises and all of these awards because it was about Southern white culture, but a black man directed that movie, and most people will never know that.
Wow, that's powerful. I didn't know it until you just said it.
Yeah. So entertainment is great. I'm about to get off of here because I want to be entertained tonight. I'm excited.
Are you not entertained?
Like, Gladiator, are you not entertained? Yeah. But we thank everybody for chipping in, conversation, for participating. We just wanted to throw something different out there today.
Well, the whole show was about entertainment and making sure that each and every one of you, wherever you fall on the spectrum of things, you make sure you take the time to be entertained, because for all the benefits we talked about, creativity, to break up routine and staleness in life, to enjoy life, find a little happiness, have fun, spark and keep that creative imagination going. There's a whole number of health and wealth benefits.
Yes, for sure.
To entertainment. Like you said, all work and no play makes Kevin a dull dude, man. He's dull. But I like being dull, so I don't mind it.
He's fronting. He's not as dull as people think.
But thanks for joining in, John.
Appreciate it, John. Appreciate it, Grim. Appreciate it, my brother.
Miss Shauna and Russell. Thanks Russell for stopping by. And everybody else, Rashad. Thank you guys. So make sure that you always schedule in some moments of magic.
Yes.
Some moments of magic. All right. Peace out.
This man and his palindromes.